A game tonight that was interesting, a mid-major game, folks. Iona and Princeton. This is a game that Iona won, and they came back and won this game. Rick Pitino's team has won 5 in a row. They beat Princeton 70-64. They get 20-point performances tonight by a pair of guys in Walter Clayton Jr. and Danis Jenkins. But let's talk about Pitino, because Iona is rolling. The NCAA stuff and the IARP, which is going defunct and frankly has been a failure, that's all in the rearview mirror. Rick Pitino will be coaching blank next year.
Theo, you take that one.
You know what? I think there's one other job that I think could intrigue him, and I think it's South Florida. Obviously, other things could intrigue him. There's situations going on elsewhere that could intrigue him. But South Florida in Tampa, it's warm. Pitino's getting a little long in the tooth. Like, we're not fooling anybody here. Like, people his age like warmer weather. But that being said, like, being at Iona, that's kind of home for him, right? Like, Wingfoot's there. Like, he enjoys his life where he's at. So that's a big portion of it. So I think he stays. I think South Florida's a bit of a, what are they, an American? Like, and they haven't been good in forever? Like, we'll see.
Oh, I don't think so, man. You think he's going to stay at Iona?
Yeah, I think he stays.
No, let me be very clear.
Okay, let's stir the pot, Fanta. Let's stir the pot. Where do you think he's going to go?
Okay, before I say where he's going to, I think USF is the front runner.
Yeah.
The irony is Steve Masiello can't go with him because that was a huge issue with Mass trying to get hired, and there's all that drama. Could you see Steve Masiello taking over at Iona? What a plot twist that would be. Having said this, guys, forget about USF for a second. If you're a power conference program that is contemplating change, and if you're a power conference program that cares about winning, then you don't think for a second, because a lot of the things that he was doing are legal now. There are other things.
Hold on now.
Easy.
All bets are off. All bets are off. The resident assistant didn't even know what was going on. Hire Pitino. I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to win games, are you trying to win?
Always.
Well, then there's no better guy to do it than him.
How much longer can he coach in his fashion, though? Like, he's 70 years old.
He's 70?
He's 70 years old.
Another 5 years. You want to get your program going with momentum. You want someone to turn the job into a better job. Do you know that certain coaches don't answer the phone when he calls them for a game? Do you also realize that certain coaches are downright scared to play him? Rick Pitino versus Richard on Sunday in Albuquerque. It's unbeaten New Mexico. Do you realize I don't know Richard very well? Do you think Richard's going to sleep the night before the game? He'll be shaking in his freaking boots. And it's not an insult against him. I wouldn't want to touch Rick Pitino with a 50-foot-long pole if I were on the other side of a matchup. And let me tell you something. Iona's going to win the MAC. And if you're the 3 seed or the 4 seed or the whatever seed, and you got to face Iona in the first round, you will be scared the morning of the game. So I'm sorry. I understand that there's ethics and morals. It's 2022 in college sports. All those have been thrown out the window. You'd be foolish to not look at Ricky P.
There's no argument for me. If you want to win for the next 5 years, it's going to take you a year. Year 2, he's going to get you to the tournament. There's no argument there for me. Like Rick Pitino can coach. It's just a matter of who's going to bite the bullet and make that happen. But Iona is not a bad spot for him.
Iona's not a bad spot. The pressure's light. Life's good.
Life's good.
But but you guys know being a competitor. Patrick, you think Pitino doesn't want one last shot at like a higher profile gig to have his grand exit in college hoops?
I feel he's pretty comfortable, man. Like Iona's not a bad spot for him. Like I don't know.
No, I
I
can
don't
foresee it.
know.
I can foresee it. One last shot at because I know he doesn't like being in a one bid league. That's not
Exactly.
that's the least appealing part about it.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, South Florida. Now, I will say this: like that South Florida gig, a lot of people look at it as a sleeping giant because the enrollment's good. They play in a nice facility. Tampa's a great city. Like it's warm. Like there's a lot of positives about that job. It's just nobody's really been able to get it going. Like if you need somebody that could get it going, I think Pitino certainly could. And then you also have like there's a ton of talent in Florida like that would fit his style of play.
Yeah.
Like, cause hey, Pat, you know this, like high school basketball in Florida looks a lot different than high school basketball in some other states.
Okay,
Like,
let me tell you something. Let me tell you my story about South Florida that then reflects why South Florida should hire Rick Pitino. So I covered a game at South Florida as
I was about to say spring break 2017.
As a student at Seton Hall.
Okay.
Seton Hall is going to play at USF. Why? Nobody knows. It's not a conference game. So take the plane down for Seton Hall Student Radio, WSOU, with my partner, who was on the cross-country team, by the way. So we had very different lifestyles and diets. So we take the plane down to Tampa Bay. All right. We settle into a La Quinta across the way from USF's campus. Okay. Put our bags down. I am starving. I'm starving. Now, the 27-year-old in me, the current age, Tio's been with me for a meal. Yes, I can eat. However, the 19-year-old could do double that. Like, put it away, Pat Young. Put it away. So I go down to the front desk. All right. I walk up to the front desk and I say to the girl, I say, hey, what's a good restaurant that you're known for around here? And she looks at me and she goes, I got to tell you, honey, the Hooters down the way is outstanding.
Yeah.
Now, Rick Pitino is perfect for that neighborhood. Perfect. If your recommendation is frickin' Hooters, USF, bring in Rick Pitino. South Florida, you are never going to be more relevant than if you have Rick Pitino roaming your sidelines. What's the beauty of USF basketball? The answer to the question is you're never going to be more relevant than Florida, Florida State, UCF, who's going to the Big 12. You're South Florida.
You definitely beat Florida State in your first year, that's for sure.
Absolutely. USF.
That's just Gator hate. It's all that.
That's just Gator hate, but also they are 2-8 or whatever.
I think I might nose getting coal under your Christmas tree. Yeah. Do the right thing, okay? Do the right thing. Hire Rick Pitino. I know. Do the right thing and hire Rick Pitino sounds like an oxymoron, but if you're trying to win games,
it does.
Yeah, it does. But if you're trying to win games, I'm of the belief that's what you should do.
I want to talk to Rick Pitino about how his stint coaching Greek basketball was, because what a thing that was. That he just hopped. He coached Nick Kalaitis and a few other.
Oh yeah, he had them winning. And he's got Iona winning. They've won 5 in a row.